G'day,
Okay.
people. How you going? This is the first of multiple, plenty of episodes we're hoping to get going with myself, Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with Crank and with that metal station. But I've also got Jim Taylor of Len, JB Taylor Music. Awesome guy, man. We interviewed, talked a couple of times and wanted to do something a little more. So this is really exciting for us both. The first official episode. Unsure of the name yet, people. So if you have a name that you'd like to contribute, hit us up. We're open and receptive. Jim, how you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's been a busy week and weekend, which we'll talk about, man. But I'm keen to hear what you've been up to, man.
Well, we're in the process. We're getting ready to hit the studio again, it's this is going to be different this time around because the album we put out this year, that took Lenny and I about 5 years collectively to put that out. So, and we had written those just hammering that for years. Me, Lenny, Morgan, Corey Lowry, everybody involved. And when we were originally going to release it, it was far more acoustic based and had this. I had the synth and everything, and the drums were electronic, and Morgan had still played them, but some of it was beats that him and Corey constructed, and I'd love to get those out there too, because Corey had a really interesting take on the acoustic guitar, because he was the original guitarist on it, and we were getting ready to release it independently. And then Morgan was like, hold on, let's make this, let's revisit these. And they became far heavier. And so this time around, we're going to look at our guys. We're going to look at Robbie, Mike, and Steve and be like, okay, we have one song right now that I'd written the guitar riff and Lenny record the vocals. It's probably the most groove and I'm not going to say thrashy, it just has elements of that, but it's the most definitely metal oriented on that particular song. And I'm excited to see where it ends up, because we're still messing with, it's going to be different with the way the guys write. Mike's his style is a little more punk oriented.
Yep.
The way he records, and then Robbie is the same way. They're both punk fans. They're big Avenged Sevenfold fans. So there's going to be those big choruses. They're both Misfits fans, I believe, too. And I was like, okay, let's take that. And then you have Lenny and I, who are Metallica, Alice in Chains, Pantera, stuff like that. And we're like, okay, how do we take, I listen to a lot of, keyboard wise, I've been listening to I listen to a lot of classical music, but I listen to a lot of, especially British new wave.
Yeah.
And Tears for Fears put out a killer record this year, and it was all over the map, because it would go from acoustic, and then when their big single, The Tipping Point, came out, I was like, this is like it crazy. So very excited for that.
That's really good to hear, man. Len, if anyone hasn't checked out Len, you need to jump over and follow them on all their socials. We will jump to their pluggables through the show. I did forget to mention this show is going to talk about all sorts of music, news, views, and everything in between. So we will be doing it once a month. We will do a catch up with Jim, see how everything's going with Len. Myself, I'm pouring beers over here at the Renmark Hotel on the Murray River. Also through the week, I chatted to Bjorn from Soilwork, which was really bloody cool, man, to get the chat.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Speed from Soilwork, dude. That was really, really cool. I'm looking forward to publishing that one. I played it on the radio
Okay.
last weekend with a couple of tracks off of the latest album, Over Given Het. Man, it was an absolute pleasure to chat with that guy because Night Flight
that whole band,
Orchestra
oh my God.
as well. I love
They,
that stuff he does with the Night Flight
oh,
at the movies with Chris and all that he done with all them guys over there. It was like
right.
really, really cool during lockdown.
No doubt.
And the latest Soilwork album, man, it's absolute ripper. So it was
Oh
cool
my
to
gosh,
chat
yeah.
with him, man. Absolute blast.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think the first record I had, it was either the Chain Heart Machine or it was the one, it was the run right after that, had Mercury Shadow on it. Oh my gosh, I can see the cover in my head, and I never heard Melody. I was really discovering a lot of at the time really getting into the Gothenburg, like In
Yep.
Flames, Dark Tranquility, and that. And yeah, hearing that, I was like, man, this is like the melodies were there, and then the heaviness was
Yeah.
there. So that was
That's
definitely,
how I got into Soilwork as well, through In Flames. Massive In Flames
yeah,
fan. And then you can't be listening to bands like In Flames if you're not listening to At the Gates and
no,
Soilwork
for
and all
sure,
those bands of that kind of movement. And it amazes me
right,
sometimes when you do talk about these bands, because we're so heavily in the music scene. You talk to other people about it, you're like, man, the
like,
Gothenburg
what?
music, and they're
Yeah,
like, what the fuck, man? Like In Flames, At the Gates, Soilwork, and you get so excited
right.
about it. And you talk to other people, like I go to my work and talk about it, I just see their eyes rolling. It's like Jai's talking about
Like,
heavy metal again.
what is this? Yeah.
What the fuck
Like, and
is
they don't
this?
realize some of the records, like you look at Carcass,
Yeah.
and they've been around, God, what, early 90s? When was oh my God, what was the
Was it Recaputurification or Heartwork or man?
Artwork?
Oh, dude,
Artwork.
I love that album, Heartwork, man. I remember when I first fuck.
I mean, that's the heaviest thing I've ever heard at the time. And then I got, of course, the greatest go ever uttered is Slaughter of the Soul. Just like, and just like, I was like, these guys mean business, dude. I just got that chill because you hear that riff, and it's just like, it hits you hard. And that whole record, and I believe they're touring that in its entirety right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say. And then I think now I want to see this run. I believe it's Carcass, Obituary. It's huge. Cattle Decapitation.
Yeah, I seen
and
Cattle Decap. Yep, I did see that. Actually,
Yeah.
I got some press. Actually, I did get a presser for that. I'm not sure where I got it. I think it was through Ear Split PR. Actually sent me over Cattle Decapitation. Are also supporting them on a Marth. Speaking of, and who else?
That's
is on
it.
there?
It's a
Carcass, Obituary, Cattle Decapitation, the Great Heathen Tour kicks off in November 11th, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Goes right through Texas, Georgia, Florida, Detroit, Chicago, bloody all over the US,
All over.
man. Ending winding
All
up in
over.
LA in December.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to try for. I think they're hitting my area. I think Pittsburgh. I think they're doing one, or in Philadelphia. And I was like, man, just to see
November 30th.
So
There you
yeah,
go.
so right, yeah. That's like, well then our buds in Black Label have one coming up. Theirs is Hatebreed and Anthrax.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I actually got something for that too. And speaking of Anthrax, they've been dropping all those tracks for the anniversary, the XL. I think they've done the live stream tour. I actually did get one of the tracks sent over from Nuclear Blast. They sent the Chuck D one, I think it's the latest single off of it.
okay.
Released the 40th anniversary live stream concert XL. Bring the Noise with Chuck D.
Bring the Noise. That's right.
Yeah, dude, that's the latest single off of it, the anniversary XL, 40th. Man, it's crazy. You think back, like 92, I was looking at like Psalm 69, Ministry. That's 30 years.
Right.
That was a huge album for me as a young metalhead, man. And another one was like Alice in Chains, dude. It was really.
Dirt?
Yes, dude. The Dirt album, man. That is 30.
Faceless was 90, I think, and then Dirt. Yeah. We're still threatening to do a cover of We Want to Do Them Bones.
There we go. There's also some
There
pop
we go.
vinyls for it, dude.
Yeah.
This is what caught my attention. I'm like, they even done little pop vinyls for it, man. I kind of, yeah. And there's the Soil Work one coming to Australia.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that.
dude. That's what I was talking about with Soil Work.
Where
They're
are
on
you
their
going
way
to catch him?
Adelaide. Adelaide is where.
Adelaide. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. We have a mutual friend. Actually, we just heard from her. She is Sardinian, and she actually moved to Sweden to be a vocalist in the black metal scene. But she was a clean vocalist, so she's an opera trained singer. She and I believe Speed's wife are really good friends.
Yep.
And she sent me, I'll send you the photo. And she was like, "Oh, look who I ran into this weekend." I'm like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
You know,
and that's one of the things he was talking about during COVID and not being able to tour. He was going like, look, it was good to actually be myself for, you know, that's a part of people don't see. They go, oh man, why aren't the bands doing their thing? And, you know, sometimes they got to take time to be them fucking selves in their home. You know what I mean? With their family, just being them. And he was like, man, it was so good to actually be home for those couple of years and not have to tour. I could just be Bjorn.
Right. And yeah, I was gonna say, and it's like, well, let's get to getting and just start, you know, playing, you know, recording. And we did, because right about shout out to our label, Imagine Records. We were, Lenny and I were like in the process of getting ready to meet everybody from that, and then it was overnight. And ironically enough, I was going to be in China with my wife. We were going to go. So she does jewelry.
Yep.
And she was like, hey, how do you feel about going to, it was, I believe, Taiwan. And it was, we were, you know, looking to get, you know, I was like, oh, Len, I'm going to head over there with her. Yeah, man. And I was like, there's this, there's something going on over there. Yeah. And turns out to be COVID, so we didn't end up going. But it was crazy. Yeah, it was. But that, to have that kind of not hiatus, but like to figure out what we were doing, finish the music, not pull the cart before the horse, and then say, okay, we have music now. Let's get a band. And that was yeah. It's been a long ride, but it's been a good one.
The long ride, exactly. I want to come back to Dirt, man, because I loved that album, dude. Tell me, you know, what that kind of album meant to you, because I'm sure, you know, I've heard your music, man, and I kind of get you. I'm sure you would have been into Alice in Chains at the time as well. It's that was really a change for me. So I was about, was that 92? Yeah, 92, man. 30 years. It's crazy, isn't it? I think I was 12 or something, dude. When I was like, I think I was hearing a little bit. 11. It wasn't until I was 15, I think, that I really discovered Alice in Chains at that point in my life. Although it had been out for a few years, I wasn't listening to Alice in Chains at 12, to be honest. But yeah.
Same here. I had heard Man in the Box and dug it. And but it wasn't until I discovered that record later. It was after actually Jar of Flies. And I heard Jar of Flies and loved that. And like I Stay Away was on that. And I was like, well, let me go back. And I did. I found Dirt. And then, because it had Them Bones, which was on it. And of course, Rooster was on that. Dude. And then I believe there was a B-side, and it ended up on, so I work in movie soundtracks as well. So I collect a lot of movie soundtracks, and that's how I discovered a lot of bands, because their B-sides would end up on these, especially horror movies or action movies. And Angry Chair was on the Last Action Hero soundtrack, the Schwarzenegger movie. And that whole soundtrack was bad anyway, but it had two Alice in Chains songs, What the Hell Have I, which I think was on Dirt. I think it was a B-side. And Angry Chair, just hearing that really reverbed out boom, ba, boom, ba, and those harmonies just for days. And that never left. And then, you know, I was well into Metallica at this point, but then hearing them, I was like, right. And I was hearing them, like the grunge scene, like when Nirvana came out, I was like, okay, that's cool, and appreciate that. But it was Alice in Chains where it was like when he's Down in a Hole was on that record
Yeah.
too, and I didn't know how bad of an addict Lane was, and it was like I believe this guy, and I was like, this guy is just, there's so much going on with
Yeah.
him. It's a tragedy. But you look at that band, and they never lost a step when they brought in William Duvall.
No.
Like their records, like the Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, Rainier Fog, slamming albums, and they're still making, and they sound great. Jerry's fantastic.
Yeah, he
The
is.
whole
He's
crew.
he's an amazing musician, Jerry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really great guy too. And the Psalm 69 ministry, man, I remember like I was the same. It's kind of same time this is my musical taste, man. I was going from like,
Yeah.
as you said, I was a huge Metallica fan. First band
Right.
I've seen live, which I'll come back to. But
Yeah.
with Alice in Chains, I was getting into ministry, Rob Zombie, those kind of bands. I
Yeah.
remember out pushing the lawnmower. I think I was 15. Headphones, tape deck, people, little Walkman,
Same.
with a tape deck.
Absolutely.
Had something like
Absolutely.
this, but a lot smaller, put it on, and that album helped me through so many chores as a kid with my
Wow.
little Walkman. The Psalm 69, I think I had that tape and a couple others, and it was just over and over again.
What was on that? What was Jesus Built My Hot Rod?
Yeah, Just One
Yeah.
Fix.
Just One Fix, which is funny. You read about that, and actually, when you listen to it, I was doing some reading, and they're saying, actually, it sounds like Du Hast by Rammstein. And then Rammstein said, oh, they were absolutely a huge influence on them. But you listen to that guitar riff, and it's like, oh, it kind of does.
Yeah.
You know, but I was, that they were so different. And I believe that for Jesus Built My Hot Rod, oh man, they had Gibby Haynes from the Butthole Surfers.
Yeah.
Which when I was a kid, they had that one song called Pepper. That was it was bizarre. I don't mind the fun sometimes. I was like,
no, dude.
Remember that? Yeah,
I do remember that, man. Like we have this thing over here in Australia. It's called Rage, and it would play on ABC, which is their 90 years this year. But they would put it on Rage, which is like it's the Australian broadcasting anyway. They'd put it on from late night. It'd probably be about midnight till 6 a.m. It'd just be music, film clips, and that's where I'd come across a lot of the music that
1,000%.
Bands like Alice in Chains. It was like Rooster and all the clips they did, Angry Chair, like you said, Wood, and you'd sit there late at night. For me, that was kind of my Google back in the day, watching Rage, because there'd be like an hour or two in the middle of the night, about 2 a.m. in the morning, when normal people's actually going to watch it. Us people would sit up late and we'd watch it, or you'd come home from a big night, or you'd sit there all blurry-eyed because I was a bit of a bad lad, and then you'd catch these tracks, and that was how I would get into heavy metal, especially being in a country area here. I'm like 300 k's from the city, and no record stores, no heavy metal stores. It's like you had to really want to get into heavy metal and music when I was younger to track this stuff down.
Right. And that's similar here. When I feel bad saying this, but when MTV actually played music, not knocking them, but you go and they had like the buzz bin and stuff like that. But that's where, I mean, I remember seeing the videos for. I remember when I first saw Enter Sandman on there, and I was like, because it was all those flashing images, and I'm just like, wow, this was, it was that, it might have been one actually. And I was just like, man, the Cowardly Lion's pissed, because he had, like, I know. But I never saw headbanging before. Yeah. And the part with, and just, they're hitting that, and you just see him, it wasn't, and Lenny and I love hair metal. So like watching Poison and Unskinny Bop, they would point the guitars and they're doing it, and you're watching these guys watching Jason, Kirk, Lars, and James just around the kit, and I was just like, I never saw anything like that. And same with Alice in Chains, because they were that ferocious, because they had a metal background too. And then going the other way, that's where it was late at night, and you'd catch videos like the Cranberries, Zombie, and to see her painted gold and like those images of Ireland, I was like, okay, they mean business. And that's the thing when you watch those videos. And so now, and Beavis and Butthead, they were another one. They were the reason I discovered Pantera. Because they did that video for This Love. And Beavis had a seizure, and he was like, yeah.
And they've got that. They've just announced that reunion and everything as well, which the internet, everyone's like, all got their reunion. Yeah, I know. It's, dude. I think it's cool, man. I actually think it's cool, man. It's got Zak Wylde over there, Charlie Benante. It's like, it's sad it couldn't happen when the Abbott brothers are around, but at the end of the day, it's Pantera, man. Their booking agent is gonna be so busy now for the next bloody how long as well. And I do think it's gonna be cool to see, and I think more power to them. I'm not the kind of hater that other people are.
No, because you just enjoy for what it is, and it's the music.
Yeah.
You're seeing members of Anthrax, Black Label, and Pantera on one
they're
stage.
all friends. They all knew each other as well. Like, Dimebag and, Vinny VP, man. Like, they were friends with these guys. Anthrax, Zak Wylde, really close friends with these guys. And if, I think it's a really good choice that they've gone with these two. And I know there's always going to be haters, but fuck them, mate. They don't. I feel like some of these people aren't really supporters of the scene anyway. The only time you see them pipe up is when they got some negative comments about it all.
It's like the Stranger Things thing when with the Metallica. Oh, it was Eddie. Oh, Eddie
I was
Munson.
so wrapped when I seen that, bro. I was like,
he starts doing it, and there's Dustin like, and everybody felt it, and you had a new. You're going to have kids that are like, what is this? And they're going to discover it came out in '86, and like, wait a minute. There was music this heavy when you, mom and dad, were this young. And Metallica were like, hey, they're doing the gatekeeping thing. And Metallica were like, no, we don't care who you are and when you discover us. For me, now I had And Justice for All. They're all the same, right?
Yeah.
Mine was, I remember I bought And Justice for All and the Black Album off my friend Mark Kyle. And I went to a very strict, it was very religious school, and which, not knocking, but it was very, and like to, I was like, that was, for me, it was, this was like, should I be listening to this, And so those were my first two records, but it was really low that I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get a guitar. And because I've played piano since I was young, but I was doing, recitals and things like that. And I was like, but they were the band that was like guitar. And my grandfather played guitar. In fact, I have it right here. It might be in the case, but I have his guitar that's probably from the early 50s. And amazing, it's electric, dude. And I've recorded some really heavy riffs on it. But I was like, okay, this is the band. And I remember playing, because he was definitely not a real hard rock fan. He was country. He was George Jones. He was Johnny Cash. And he showed me a couple like riffs that, he was a single note picker. So he didn't really do power chords. That was something I learned later. It was these single note things. And I would listen to all these country things, but then the song in particular that reminded me of that was Bleeding Me. And I was like, I heard that, and and I was like, that's it. And then it came to that middle section, And I was just like, I just did it again. I was like, this is it. This is the record that spoke to me. That and then Outlaw Torn.
Yeah. I love both those albums. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. And the whole
I love
gatekeeping
Reload.
bullshit, man. When Eddie Munson's like Master of Puppets, I was like, dude. And my sister come home with the Master of Puppets CD, dude. She was the one who actually got me. Like, I'm like, grabbed it. I'm like, man, that looks cool as fuck, dude.
Right.
And I put that album in, man, and it was just unbelievable. Believable, you know what I mean?
Right.
And there's always, if this is the thing with this whole gatekeeping, like half these people that are sitting there going, fuck you, listen, mate, they've had one Metallica album or the first three and they don't listen to anything else but that. They haven't listened to a bloody thing in the last 20, 30, 40 years. They're still sitting there with the same Metallica album playing that, probably hasn't left their fucking tape deck. And and they're going, oh, they're trying to be these gatekeepers of something that they have no right to. They're not supporting the scene anyway. If I've always said, and you know, it was the same thing when everyone was going on about Black Veil Brides and these kind of bands, mate. If you're getting into heavy metal, or you'll get, if you're exploring music, I don't give a fuck how you're getting into music or as long as you're getting into it. Music's subjective, man. It really, really is. And if you're getting some sort of enjoyment out of it, why try and detract from that and take from somebody else?
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? It really does my goat in that these people think that they can sit there and go, oh, well, you know, and the Load and Reload albums, like, the same thing. People were like, oh, you know, there's other Metallica and cracking the shits and doing the same bullshit when those albums come out too. And I loved those albums. Like, I'm a big Metallica fan.
I remember, because I was still, I remember I watched, it was MTV News, you do it. And it was, what was her name? Tabitha Soren. And she goes, she goes, oh, in music news today, Metallica is entering the studio. And they had the barbed letters that came up, and I just went, oh, shit. Because I was just, you know, I went back after the Black Album. I think the first record I got going through their back catalog was Ride the Lightning. So I went Ride the Lightning, Kill 'Em All, and then Puppets. I remember my buddy Charlie, as a birthday gift, gave me Master of Puppets. And for me, and Morgan will tell you this too, the one that struck us on that record was Disposable Heroes. And that whole, every song off that album was, there's a great documentary. Check it out on YouTube. It's, oh, come on, Jim. It's, they put together sound clips and, interviews that they did over the years, interspersed with like different takes of each song. It's called Hypnotizing Power. Hypnotizing Power. And it's so well done. And they're talking about working with Flemming Rasmussen, who, you know, he would do Master Puppets and Justice. And I'm sorry, he did Ride the Lightning as well. So their middle three records that made them a band. I mean, it was that natural thing. And I remember, but Puppets, I never heard it, that they had, like, when you listen to Battery and you hear that Baroque, that almost flamenco style guitar. And then when that first, those double harmonies and all that, it hits you in the teeth. And I never saw that kind of ferocity.
And the themes they tackled too, it was just for, you know, even for a teenager, and everyone going, and some people going now like, oh, this song was about drug. Mate, at the time when I was first getting into it, I wasn't listening to that going, this is a song about a drug addiction. I was going, man, I'm an angry fucking teenager rocking the hell out to this shit, and I'm just loving it. You know what I mean? And that's what music is to people.
It strikes, it's that nerve. And like, you know, Lenny and I, we get lost up here sometimes, and, you know, anxiety happens and you're like, oh my God, you know, this. And I was like, okay, grab the thing, here we go. And when James, I wanted to hug him like they did. when he was on stage and he was like, when I've had, I feel like I suck, I can't do this anymore, and he's on stage bearing his soul, and I was like, this is why I love this band.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't imagine the stress and the life and what has gone through. Like, his family was Christian Science, and so the song, "The God That Failed."
Yeah.
And when you see that on a record, like this is heavy. And not only that, it's one of the greatest songs on the record. Front to back, that's a great album too. But that's a testament to how amazing the writing is. Now we look at Stranger Things, and we got, "This is for you, Chrissy," and look at have you seen the footage of the actor?
Yeah, I know. He actually learned to play that dude. I thought it was so fucking cool, wasn't it?
You know who I thought it was?
Who's that?
Matt Heffy.
Yeah, he's unreal, isn't he?
And he looks, and Matt posted it, and he was like, "Yeah, he kind of does look like me," because he had the shorter hair, and he's there. I was like,
dude, I got a big.
Funny.
I don't know if you can see it there, but I've got a big Trivium tattoo on the inside of my arm, dude.
Okay. And I'll tell you something. Years later, they were another band that struck. Look at you, man. You got a bunch of them.
Yeah, man. I've even got a corn tattoo underneath here, dude. Like the "See You on the Other Side" album.
Oh, yeah. There's the not Untouchables.
See You on the Other Side.
With the kid, yeah.
Yeah, with the kid and the teddy bear and everything.
Yeah.
Dude, massive Corn fan as well. I just always inking up bands. I've got a Machine Head tattoo on the back of my neck as well. The old MH, original MH yellow fucking diamond done, man. Just like that. Yeah. A whole heap of tats.
I saw them live. I saw them with actually Metallica Death Magnetic Tour with the Sword.
Yep.
And it was the Sword, Machine Head, Metallica. And when I was like, Machine Head were incredible.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
And their last, at the time, they weren't putting out a whole lot of records. They had just done, I want to say it was Through the Ashes of Empires.
Yep.
And then they've come, Under the Locust and all the ones they've been putting out. And they're just, them and Testament are another one that keep just putting out these intense records.
Yeah, man.
And oh man, but and the
new interesting story about Machine Head, which we will go into in just a second, man. But we're going to pause this, people, for a coffee break. Hey, there we go. As we get back into it, I talk about Machine Head, man. I seen them. I can't remember what fucking year I seen them, dude, but that was with Slayer. I think it was the God Hates Us All. As Slayer and Machine Head was support. And Frankenbach was the first time I seen him. Was the second band I seen. I think it was maybe, I want to say 99, late 99. And then the band I'd seen before that was Metallica. Was the very first band I seen live was Metallica. Okay. And we were talking before the Load and Reload stuff. I think it was the Give Me Fuel, Give Me Fire, Give Me That What Trying to Say.
Reload.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So that was cool, man. I seen them live, dude, and that was just bitching, bro.
It's funny. So I live on the East Coast. I'm Atlantic, so I grew up in Virginia. So we had DC 101, and then we also had 98 Rock, which was in Baltimore. And I think about, and this is every band. I would, I don't think I had a CD player till I was in college. And I collected cassettes, and I had those, but then I'd make my own mixtapes. I'd be there, okay, go. But you'd find, I found other bands that way. I found when I believe it was Until It Sleeps came out, and I was waiting for that, like, bated. And through that, I discovered Soundgarden, because they started playing Fell on Black Days, and I was like, ooh, and then Cornell, like, just wow, like his vocals. And then I discovered, and then of course Black Hole Sun was on that record, and that was on MTV too. I was like, they all had the crooked smiles and that storm, and they're sitting there, and I thought they were rock star too, because they won a Grammy for Super Unknown.
Yeah.
And I remember Here Comes Chris and the rest, and Cameron's up there. Kim Thale is up there. He's got the beard, jet black hair. He's up there like this with a Coors Light. Like, appreciate you, thank you.
Yeah, he's cool cat,
like, you didn't see that then, but that was outlaw as shit. You know what I mean? And but all these bands now, not knocking the digital age because we're able to do things like this. Half a world away. Is it Monday for you?
It's 10:15 in the morning here.
On Monday.
Yeah, on a Monday morning, dude.
I feel like I'm talking into the future. This is
Well,
cool.
the future's okay over here in Australia. It's fine, and we've got plenty of Vegemite for all you people in the past. Hashtag Vegemite sponsorship.
We can get a Vegemite sponsor. Actually, I was in England when I was about 16. And I tried Marmite.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I had to get Guinness to wash it out of my mouth. I couldn't take it. But
not far off, but it's like the cheap cousin of Vegemite. Not far off though.
I'll try it again because like I'll be 41, so it's been a while. I was gonna say, speaking of Aussie bands, one of my favorites, 12-Foot Ninja.
Yeah, hiatus, indefinite hiatus, isn't it? Or
because Ken had left, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about a unique band. I discovered them. I discovered them through Morgan. We were down recording in Atlanta, and he goes, Jim, you'll like this. How about you put your money where your mouth is? And I was like, the whole beginning of that video. You've been busy?
Yeah, 12-Foot Ninja are really good,
Wow. But like their polyrhythms, it's like they're doing Meshuggah type stuff, but they're very tongue-in-cheek. Like he almost sounds like he reminds me of Mike Patton from Faith No More. And just his delivery, and then he's got these operatic, and the way there's just amazing musicians.
They are. But there's some good bands in the prog scene over here in Australia, like 12-Foot Ninja. Or speaking, another good one is Voyager. Have you heard of them, dude?
Definitely.
They're unbloody real. They went for Eurovision. Unfortunately, Australia, you sucked. You didn't vote in Voyager. We probably would have won it.
Yeah.
They even done a song, I think it was Dreamer or something for the Eurovision. They were went for a competition here, but I think they got second or third. Australia voted in some other poppy dude.
Okay. Yeah, Voyager. Another one Morgan turned on was North Lane.
North Lane. I just seen them the other week, dude. I seen them a couple of weeks ago. North Lane, unfucking believable. I love North Lane, dude. They put on a great show. Seen them in Adelaide. The band that they had with them was Plenty, man. That was unreal, man. Dude, those
I discovered them through Bandcamp.
Yeah.
And I got a whole bunch of their records. And then North Lane I found through that too. And then oh my God, I'll think of this in a second. Oh, something happened with these guys. I think they're getting things going again. Parkway Drive, yeah,
a couple of new singles. Yeah, they just just had a little bit of fucking time. I think they were a little bit burnt out with the touring schedule and everything, and that's it. Hey, those guys have been like they said, they've been playing. Like that's the thing, people don't see the hard work that goes into this, especially for a band like Parkway Drive to get where they were from Australia to be fucking internationally recognized. It's twice as hard for Aussie bands to get out of this country and playing overseas, and it just takes constant hard work and grind. Like they were playing like all the bloody time here in Australia, constantly going around Australia. If you didn't get to see Parkway in the first how many years they were here, I don't know what you were doing, but they've just been driving, and like all bands got to do that to get like to the level that these guys get to.
Yeah, that's like who are the kids that did their 3-piece? Oh, Alien Weaponry.
Oh, yeah. Another band I seen. I done gig photography for that show, man. In Adelaide, dude, that was nuts. Like at the Enigma Bar in Adelaide, the crowd just went like bunter, man. It was insane. I'm trying to take photos in the middle of like this crowd. It was just, yeah, really good show. Those ones put on too, Hardy and Weaponry. They're the same, working hard, and they're only young, dude. They have that.
I don't think they're even like 30.
No, well,
25.
a couple of, yeah, the oldest brother, I think he's about 25. I know the others are a couple of years younger. So
right. I saw them. I think it was a live performance at Bloodstock or something like that. And I was like, these guys are awesome. And it was like, you know, people were like, oh, they sound like, it's like Sepultura. I was like, it's not a bad thing. You know, and
that's the thing. You can't fucking play any music without it kind of sounding like something. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's all just not make music anymore. Let's just sit down because, like, fuck it.
we had, you know, we did an interview where it's like, oh, you remind us of this, and this, and I was like, awesome. But we're trying to be, you know, you're retaining heaviness, but like, you know, like like all of us want to be doing like harmony vocals together. And then not to speak for myself, but the contributions that I do, I don't play synth. I play completely clean, like a grand piano tone. And then my mandolins. I wanted to bring an instrument as unique, especially not even a traditional mandolin, but electric mandolin. And I wanted to bring something that was unique. And I was like, you know, you hear mandolin in some stuff, like, you know, but not like, I use an EBO and I use different types. I use delay and reverb and things like that. You know, I'm not looking to compete, you know, with what the guys are doing. I want to keep our riffs relatively not simple, but like if you're able to sing the guitar riff, that's, you know, in addition to the lyrics, and then for me, I like creating an atmosphere in back of them. I don't want to be, oh, check it out, I'm gonna do all no. It's like, for me, every song is like you're watching a film, and the soundtrack is, you know, it's there. You know what I mean? It kind of dictates that, but you know, before, like Alien Weaponry, they were unique because they're using, you know, they were using the haka,
the Maori culture, and they were using their full Maori culture. I think one of them's got full traditional face tats now as well.
He does, dude. Yeah. And their songs are so full of history.
Yeah.
As well. And I was like, this is next level.
I love original music that can do that kind of push the mold and create something else, like bands like, as we were talking about, Northlane Plenty, another one that was supporting them was Sleep Token. Man, I'm a massive I love that band, Sleep Token. And I love that when they come out and played, they just played the music. There was no talking. There was just, they come out and they played, but they had this mystique about them, and it was just the music. I kind of get where they're coming from. They're not, don't want to get caught up in any, who the fuck are they, what are they doing? It's just, we're going to play the music, and we're here. It affects you. And I loved that show. The crowd went off, and I just felt connected. They call it a gathering, and it's like, kind of, who cares, race, creed, color, fucking sex. We're just musicians playing music that's going to hit you.
I hope I say this right. Is it Soundwave?
Yeah.
That's one of your big ones.
Was a big one. We don't do Soundwave anymore. We haven't done that in a number of years. I've seen Metallica. I've seen so many bands at Soundwave, dude. That was really good while it was here. I went to a whole stack of them, dude. I've seen Metallica 3 times. I actually caught them at Soundwave, but it was also one of the first shows I took my little sister to. I think she was 15, and she's I think she was getting into this Australian Idol dude, Reese Maston at the time. He's coming to play at my hotel. He's coming to play at my hotel anyway, but fucking, I'm like, that's it, you're coming to Soundwave. Like, I took it, I think we've seen Slipknot that year, Marilyn Manson. It was just a crazy show, like just 8 hours or something of a heavy metal festival. It was an absolute blast. And that's the thing I also do. I take people, friends, family have never been to gigs. I took my other sister to the Big Day Out, was the one before Soundwave.
Big Day Out.
That was the one, dude. I took her to a Big Day Out one year, and that was really
Yeah.
cool what happened. Because it was Australia wide, and you could go and catch them. I suppose not totally Australia wide. Sorry, Tasmania and Northern Territory. You always get missed out. But yeah, it was a really cool festival that you could go along to. And the thing with the Big Day Out, you could catch all sorts of music. You'd have your ravers there, and you'd have a punk set and a metal set, and you know what I mean. And the headline fucking set, which was a Soulfly. Seeing them up on the main stage as well. First time I seen Soulfly and Max Cavalera, I was like, fuck yeah. He was like, that was actually the first time I got Soulfly. I got this little one up on top of my arm. I'm like, I want a big one.
Look at that.
Yeah. Right on top of my arm. I went into my tattooist. I'm like, I want a big tattoo right here. He's like, it's going to cost you this much. I'm like, just put it up there. It's all good, mate. Just a little one then.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm the only guy in the band. I have nothing. I just grow a beard. That's it. But like Lenny and the guys, like, I think, they definitely have, like, I think Misfits somewhere. Lenny's got we love actually which came up in conversation. One band came up was Typo Negative. Yeah. And that was an influence. Talking with Morgan, it's like, you guys have like this gothic undertone, but you're still you and Jim, you're still gonna do like a Mouth for War riff with keyboard and whatever weird instrument Jimmy's gonna add, and the guys all have, it's really that's what struck me, is that we've had a few people tattoo
I've seen that. I've seen that.
Or our L, and I don't know, like, that's something that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And Lenny and I just played a wedding at our friend's place, and our buddy Ron came up to us, and he was like, look, man, he was like, I was in tears when I got to No Amends. And that means a lot, because that was a song that was Lenny and Morgan. That was written. He wrote that for his girl that he lost, and I don't want to speak for him, but just that's the kind of thing we tap into. We were talking about earlier, like emotional content.
Yeah.
And we I did an interview. They're like, you guys wrote the saddest shit, and then you call and you're like, hi.
Yeah, man.
I'm depressed. No, but
that's the thing though. We're all fucking like, that's what I struggle with, man. Like, it's man, we're all got shit we're going on within the world, dude. It's just as simple as we need to be kinder to each other and more understanding. And it's also good having music like this. I love to, mate, like we're talking about Carcass, I'm listening to the most brutal death metal sometimes, and I'll jump over and I'll listen to guys like yourself, and for me, it's like you need all these different flavors, musical flavors. So the people that are just listening, like as we mentioned before, these gatekeepers that are listening to the 1 or 2 Metallica albums and the same fucking Anthrax album. It's like, dude, grow the fuck up.
And it's what endeared me to heavy music. So going back to when I was growing up in school, I had heard hard rock, obviously, but like I grew up. I had so I was taking piano lessons. I was taking Mozart, Bach, this kind of, and I remember Mom and Dad, they would put on DC 101 when they take me to school, but they had introduced both of them had both played Appetite for Destruction for me, and Dad would go, "Don't tell your mother," and then Mom would go, "Don't tell your father," and that I was like, by the way, so I'd heard that. So going into the school, I had discovered, I did Black Album and Justice for All. Korn's first record was another one too. And that struck me too, because it was great to hear bagpipes. I knew AC/DC did it, but to hear how heavy Korn was, and then to hear Chutes and Ladders, and that it was amazing.
That Chutes and Ladders was cool, man.
Amazing. And so so I was listening to that, and my tape, thing looked really weird. It went from Bach Brandenburg Concerto to Ace of Base. I love Ace of Base. No lie.
Son. Was that the one?
I still listen to it. I still listen to it. And so I had that, and then I would go into Metallica and all that. Well, there was this group of kids. They were cool. I knew they were cool, and I was like Niles. You familiar with the show Frasier? Frasier. That was Niles Crane.
Yep.
And I go in there, and I goes, and they were all into Radiohead when it came when they were starting to really get to the U.S. at that point, and they got into that, and they were like. Yeah, I remember the one girl, and then like it was the couple dudes, and they were just like, "Did you have that new Radiohead?" And I was like, "What's Radiohead?" They're like, "He doesn't know what Radiohead is." I wouldn't listen to it, and I was like, "This is cool, guys. Hey, I listened to the radio. No, oh, no, that's not for you." Like it was almost like it's too above you, and I was like, well then that's it. I want to take my angry heavy music, and you can stick it up your butt. Now I love Radiohead, and actually I did I used to cover my one buddy and we had a duo where I was playing electric mandolin, he did acoustic guitar and vocals. We used to do is it Street Spirit? And we did a couple other. We did Karma Police, and I was like, it was cool. But he'd see me, I'd start laughing. He was like, "You're thinking of high school again, aren't you?" I'm like,
yeah, fuck him.
No, but they were cool. Yeah, right. Yeah, they were cool. But it was just like it drew me closer to the heaviness and not being understood, or and getting out that aggression, and I was a competitive fencer as well, and I was like, so it was that was like I remember putting on, I still have my tape copy of the Great Southern Trendkill, and I remember putting on, oh my god, and it was the one that got me going. Well, Drag the Waters,
I had that on CD Walkman.
Oh dude, right? And the other was what's the one? Hell's Wrath.
Yep.
Suicide
Note Part 1 and 2.
I had to skip for the longest time. This Suicide Note Part 1.
Yeah, it hit me hard, man. Yeah, it scared the shit out of me too, dude. It hit me hard. I was going through a rough time at the time I was listening to it. I was like I was stuck in a bad situation, drug dependency, and it was like listening to a lot of that at the time. It was kind of ended up getting my shit together real early, but that was an album that really I played a lot of, dude.
It's dark. It's I think it's their darkest record.
Yeah.
And because after that they did what was it when they did Reinventing the Steel, which I love. I was like, it wasn't nearly as dark when I first put on. Yeah, it's still I'm still thinking about every track.
And the wails and the screams and that, man.
Darker.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you try to die?
I know.
I was like, okay, that's it. I'm gone. And like, it just, you believed him.
Yeah.
And it was like, now let's think about that for a minute with Zak Wylde on guitar and it's Charlie.
That's gonna be.
It's like, guys, just enjoy it for what it is. I can tell you, Zak.
He's been singing.
He's gonna be. I'm so honored that they chose me. Yeah. You know what I mean? My buddy hit me up here, and we were talking about. So this was a game. I actually wrote it down. I know they've announced that band. Who would have you, if you had to choose, who would have you would pick as your guitarist and as your drummer? If they hadn't chose those two guys.
Me, if it wasn't Zach, oh shit, dude, it would have to be someone from Skid Row, maybe Anthrax, or someone that was
funny because they were tight.
Yeah, they were really tight. Someone that was really close. One of those bands, you know what I mean, that were really that's the only way I feel it would do it justice. But for me, I always knew it was going to be Zach. We always kind of knew if it was going to happen, it was going to be Zach. I kind of did. When I seen the announcement and they hadn't actually announced who it was, I knew for sure it was going to be Zach. And then I think Rex, or those clickbait articles are like, Rex said it's going to be anyone but Zach. It's like, fuck, we all know it was going to be Zach. Like, it had to have been.
I was actually waiting, drummer wise. I was like, oh, they got Charlie, man. And he killed that. I was almost actually waiting for them to tap Slayer and get like Paul Bostaph or Dave Lombardo.
Yeah, that's it.
but Charlie, that's like a natural, like, because he has that Vinny's, like, his swing and his groove and all that. That's gonna be hellacious.
Yeah, man. I've always been like Down, and then Philip Anselmo and the Illegals, and then even like that N minor project he'd done. I really, really dug that. Hey, man, it reminded me of some of the other stuff, the mellower stuff with Pantera and that, but it felt like he could really just go with that. And I had that album, actually done a bit of promo on that one, and I still play it. I still dig that album, rip it out and play it. It's a great album.
I still actually, in particular, Bustle in Your Hedgerow. I was listening to, and I think that I always get these confused, but that's the one that has New Orleans is a Dying Whore on it, and what was Ghosts Along the Mississippi.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay.
And then Superjoint Ritual too, dude.
Oh my God, right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then he's had like 57 side projects.
Yeah, man. And then he's got Housecore Records, and like I know King Parrot from Australia signed with them, and they do a fair bit of stuff. I know they did an EP.
Yeah.
Flushed and Torn Asunder over Housecore. I think they recorded that way. And speaking of King Parrot, he also done a track with Max on one of the Soulfly albums as well. Matt Young from King Parrot as well, dude.
Yeah.
And they've got their new album Totem coming out, which I'm hella excited about as well.
And a lot of big records. The Lamb of God's got Omens coming out.
Oh, dude, and that track they done with the Megadeth cover, man. Fuck, that was cool, dude. And it had Dave Mustaine and then Wake Up the Dead, I think it was. Wake Up Dead. Yeah, dude. And it had Dave in there, but it also had all the other guys from Megadeth in there as well. Everyone was like, oh, Dave. Dave was like, but it also had the other guys too, people, which was really cool to see for me.
Right. We were talking a little bit. Did I see Fear Factory's coming out?
Fear Factory, they're doing the Recoded, the Aggression Continuum. They're doing that like a remix album, like they've done with a couple of their others. I remember
was it Remanufactured?
Yeah, Remanufactured, but even earlier it was Soul of a New Machine or Fear is the Mind Killer, and that some of that early stuff, man, was like kind of I put out there, I hate that fucking dance music, but man, that shit, I crank that shit, man. That remix stuff, it was like, this is Fear Factory doing it. This is cool as bloody hell. So I'm kind of looking forward to the Recoded, because I did chat with Dino last year, man. Super cool dude, man. I chatted to him like 2 days after my niece's funeral. I wasn't in a good place, and
I'm sorry.
He was super cool about it, man. And he was just the fucking, like, everyone I talked to is just so down to earth, man. And I was always a fan of Fear Factory, but after talking to the guy, he was like, I'm like, man, I wasn't going to rebook it because we'd be rebooked it before, and then it wasn't a good time, but I still done it. And I'm like, man, this is what's happened. I'll persevere through it. And he's like, look, man, he's like, he just kept going, keep talking, man, keep talking. I'll tell you when we're done. And he's like, man, it makes me put everything into perspective, the problems I've got going on, because at the time he was having the Burton C. Bell problems and the news, him going off. And he's like, man, puts everything into perspective for me, man. He said the problems you're going through and what I'm going through was, he was really, really super cool about it. And so, it was really cool, man. All around good guy too. So I am looking forward to what they're doing with this and what Fear Factory do going forward as well.
Right. Because I came into them. I had heard them. I actually saw them my God, it was Throwdown, Lamb of God, Children of Bodom, and Fear Factory. Dude, dude, dude. Like, so Throwdown are amazing. And they're like, hardcore, they're more metallic. Here comes I think Bodom was not, yeah, it was Bodom, were next. My God, to see Alexei live. And I mean, he was that neoclassical. And then like the song that really got me to them was Hate Me.
Yeah.
And because they have all the keyboards in that, the velocity of what they play. They're funny because they also are big hair metal fans. And they would do this thing. Remember how Warrant would do that thing where they get on their knees in the hair? Well, they did that during Hate Me. And then all of a sudden this dude comes out in a hoodie. It's Randy from Lamb of God. And he hits that, now you've got something. And they did the end of Something to Die For with Bodom. It was insane. And then Lamb of God came on, incredible. And they're from where I went to college, in fact, in Virginia. They're from Richmond. And it's incredible. I followed them since New American Gospel, and to see like the level, and it's like they're local boys in a way, Virginia boys. But then when Fear Factor came on, they opened with Shock. So you heard that. I mean, dude, larger than life. And that was interesting too, because that wasn't with Dino.
Yeah.
That's when they had Byron Stroud from Strapping Young Lad. And yeah, and they had Raymond Herrera was still on drums, Burton was still vocalist, and then Christian Wolbers had moved to guitar. And dude, still every song they did, they did Shock, they did oh my God, Replica.
That was man. When I seen that film clip, Replica, dude, I was sold, dude. That was like I went out and got the CD straight away. I went and bought that, and I think with the Roots album, the Sepultura Roots album,
Same.
I brought them both at the same time. I'm like, fuck yeah. And Strapping Young Lad, I had Heavy Is a Heavy Thing and the City albums, and I would take them everywhere with me. Everywhere in my little country town. If I rocked up, I was taking over your fucking stereo with my Strapping Young Lad, and people would sit there going, what the fuck is that? Would have probably why I don't have a lot of people come visit me now.
It was that one. And then when City came out, it was almost, he records on such a level that's so dense, and it was almost hard to listen to.
Yep.
And then you keep listening, it's like, this is brilliant. You know what I mean? And then he's got his own, the Devin Townsend project and all that. What a brilliant mind that man is.
Unreal, dude.
And he did this he had this side project that was not metal at all. And what was it, Casualties of Cool.
Yeah, he had so many. Another one with so many side projects.
Oh, exactly. And it was almost country. And there's this brilliant guitar player, Amy Dorval, that plays with him. And I think it's Casualties of Cool that they're called. But it was like really delayed out guitars, just the two of them. And it was like Western sound. Like if you took Mad Max and like another Western and combined it, it was wild, but crazy stuff.
Yeah, Strapping Young Lad, can't go wrong. Look, Jim, this has been an absolute pleasure. Everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this first installment.
Yes.
We are going to be doing this monthly, people. So if you have anything you want us to talk about, you want to put in a submission to name the show or anything like that, please do it. Yeah. This has been an absolute pleasure. We will be back next month. Jim, plug your pluggables, my friend. Where can we follow you all, man? Where do we go?
I'm on Facebook at JB Taylor Music. I'm on that, but on Instagram, I'm JB Taylor Muzak. And then Lenny, Lenny, just look us up on Lenny the Band is our handle for Instagram and all that. But you can find records on Spotify, iTunes. Hopefully soon. We're hopefully Sirius XM here before long. But YouTube, you can find it there, or just contact us and we'll send you something. And then yeah, I'm always on Instagram and all that, and I've got soundtrack stuff coming up, so hit me up.
Awesome. And you can catch me over on Jai That Aussie Metal Guy. I'm on YouTube, also with crank.com, and on radio with that metalstation.com out of the US. Thank you, everybody. We will see you all next month. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and keep up to date with all us great stuff, people. See you later, legends.